If your transportation company just bought the fastest, most powerful, most technologically advanced truck of the last decade, you do not leave it rusting in the garage to prioritize the old pickup trucks in the fleet. And you absolutely do not sell that state-of-the-art machine for 2 broke electric scooters just because you don't have enough parking spaces. You sell the old pickups and put your luxury machine on the road. But the media covering the New York Yankees despises basic corporate logic. Fansided just published a trade proposal that should be grounds for immediate termination of whoever wrote it. The tactical genius of the moment is that the Yankees have an outfield clog with Cody Bellinger, Aaron Judge, and a severely limited Trent Grisham. The solution to this traffic jam? Package the franchise's greatest prospect of the decade, Jasson Dominguez, and ship him to the St. Louis Cardinals. We would send the Martian away. And what would we receive in return? A 22-year-old catcher named Leonardo Bernal, who posted a dazzling .247 batting average, and pitcher Tink Hence, who lost his elite draft status and threw fewer innings last season than a high school amateur. Today, we're dissecting the anatomy of this media extortion. Why try and justify selling a generational talent because of roster space is the definition of cowardice. How baseball's fast karma will charge the Yankees if they bite this bait, and what it means to treat your own prospects like discount bin garbage. Before we open a minor league resume of these targets, I'm putting the manager's clipboard in your hand. Would you be willing to shred the long-term blueprint, selling Jasson Dominguez for 2 minor league players who can barely stand up in Double-A, just to protect the starting spot of guys like Trent Grisham? Or do you lock the vault door, kick the bench players to the curb, and force open outfield space for the kid to play? Think like an Empire owner with ice in your veins, because diamonds do not sell at a discount. Let's walk into the architecture of this poorly constructed con. The media's excuse is that Dominguez hasn't shown significant growth and struggles against left-handed pitching. He is 22 years old. He has already survived Tommy John surgery. Let that sink in. The kid is 22, coming off major elbow reconstruction, still developing his swing against professional pitching, and the national media is already writing his epitaph because he doesn't look like a finished product in spring training. This is not analysis. This is impatience dressed up as journalism. Now, let's talk about what the Cardinals would actually be receiving if this trade somehow happened. Jasson Dominguez is a 5-tool prospect in the truest sense of the term. He has size, athleticism, bat speed, defensive capability, and the kind of raw tools that scouts have been comparing to young Miguel Cabrera. The ceiling is not good player. The ceiling is franchise cornerstone. Leonardo Bernal is a catcher with a .247 average who has not proven he can hit professional pitching consistently. Tink Hence is a pitcher who was passed over in the draft and whose minor league performance suggests the scouts who passed on him were correct. The Cardinals would sign that paperwork while laughing so hard they could barely hold the pen. This is not a trade. This is a heist. The Yankees would be the ones getting robbed. And the reason this proposal even exists is because the media and the fan base have zero patience for prospect development. They see a 22-year-old who doesn't look like an all-star yet and conclude he must be traded. They see an outfield with Judge and Bellinger and conclude there is no room for Dominguez. They prioritize the immediate over the foundational. That is the exact opposite of how championship organizations operate. Now, let's talk about where the fast karma arrives and parks itself directly on Cashman's desk. The Yankees' organizational weakness has always been the same. They panic under pressure and make short-term decisions that damage the long-term foundation. They traded prospects for aging stars. They signed bloated contracts. They prioritized now over later so consistently that the farm system became barren. The punishment for that pattern is always the same. You eventually run out of prospects to trade. You run out of money to spend, and you wake up with a roster full of aging players and no pipeline to replace them. If the Yankees sold Jasson Dominguez tomorrow, if they actually bid on the St. Louis proposal, the karma would arrive with perfect, ruthless timing. Dominguez would arrive in St. Louis, a franchise with actual patience for prospect development. The Cardinals would not put immediate pressure on him. They would not demand all-star production in year one. They would let him develop at his own pace, refine his swing, adjust to major league pitching, and grow into a ceiling. 2 years from now, Jasson Dominguez will be hitting .285 with 35 home runs, making all-star games, and establishing himself as one of the most exciting young players in baseball. And the Yankees would be watching it on television. Meanwhile, Leonardo Bernal and Tink Hence would be sitting on the Yankees bench, proving exactly what their minor league numbers already suggested. They are not major league solutions. They would become reminders of a trade that should never have been made, a cautionary tale about selling low on a generational talent, because the media demanded immediate gratification. That is the karma. That is the price of impatience. And it is a price that compounds over time. The Yankees would have traded a potential franchise centerpiece for two players who will never contribute meaningfully to a World Series run. The organization would have weakened itself for the sake of appeasing an impatient fan base and an impatient press. That is not smart baseball. That is organizational self-sabotage. Now let's address the actual outfield situation, because the argument about roster space is the thinnest part of this proposal. Yes, the Yankees have Judge, Bellinger, and Grisham. That is a crowded outfield on paper. But here's the reality. Bellinger is 32 years old and has a full no-trade clause. Judge is the captain and untouchable. Grisham is a fourth outfielder with limited offensive production. If the Yankees actually wanted to create space for Dominguez, the solution is not to trade him. The solution is to trade Grisham, or to move Bellinger in a deal that brings back younger, more productive pieces, or to simply accept that Dominguez gets regular at-bats as the primary DH while rotating through the outfield. There are multiple paths to playing time for Jasson Dominguez that do not involve shipping him to St. Louis for two minor league players. The fact that the media is proposing the Dominguez trade instead of the Grisham trade tells you everything you need to know about the quality of the analysis. They are not thinking about what is best for the Yankees' long-term competitive window. They are thinking about what sounds dramatic and generates clicks. The operations clipboard is in your hands right now. You understand the outfield is crowded. You also understand that Jasson Dominguez is the most valuable asset in the entire organization. Not because of what is already done, but because of what he is capable of becoming. Do you lock the vault, reject every trade proposal involving Dominguez, and force the organization to make space for him through other roster moves? Or do you believe the media narrative that a 22-year-old coming off Tommy John surgery needs to be traded because he doesn't look like a finished product yet? Drop your verdict in the comments. Protect Dominguez, trade Grisham instead. Or, the Cardinals' offer makes sense, move the kid. Because in baseball, selling a generational prospect at discount prices is not a trade. It is an admission that your front office lacks the patience and the vision to build a dynasty. And don't blink. While we're defending the crown jewels of the farm system, a significant roster earthquake just hit the headlines in the NL Central. A division rival just made a shocking move that could completely reshape the competitive balance of the entire National League heading into opening day. What that move is, and what it means for the Yankees' path to October, that story drops in the next video. Stay locked in.